the beauty, I think, of this framework is that we can get as complicated as we want to once we get into this paragraph, because we've given our reader so much information about where we're going. You may need to get into some technical arguments, some complex things in this paragraph, and that's okay as long as your reader knows where you're going. So, that is the thesis subheading framework. Now let's review it again. I'm going to review it again. I'm going to ask you for some input, see if you have any questions, because we will spend so much time working with this. Virtually all of your writing assignments, I ask you to put in the thesis subheading framework. I ask you to do the written presentation, the Dell case write-up, and the emotional intelligence are all this exact same way. So, as we thought about writing this writing assignment, maybe we work for a healthcare company, and maybe we thought, gosh, there are 3 things that would make this company better, more competitive. So I think that's going to be my thesis. I want to write my paper about the 3 things that are going to help my company. So I might start this assignment by writing this sentence. To support a flexible workforce, I recommend our flatten organizational structure, consolidate departments, and deploy electronic notebook. Let me make some adjustments and make sure those 3 things are in parallel structure. Boom, I'm off to a good start. I've got my thesis. Now, I might think about how I can put that in context. Well, I'm going to mention the pharmaceutical industry. I'm going to talk about how important it is to remain competitive. And that's it. I'm going to keep it concise. Now, I'm going to cut and paste from my thesis 3 subheadings. I'm going to put them in bold. Visual cue for my reader to know where I'm going. And then once I get that done, I'm going to think about how I want to construct the subheading paragraphs. And the first thing I'm going to start with each paragraph is a topic sentence that is going to guide me in writing the rest of this paragraph. So my next step might be write 3 topic sentences. And from there, you're pretty much on your way. I mentioned that once you've done that, you can get as complex as you need to in the actual wording that follows that. This, I think, is a valuable way to think about writing, because there are so many ways your reader can get information. Your reader may not want to read your whole essay. Your reader may just want to skim through certain parts. Your boss may have a number of reports on her or his desk. And the easier you make it for them to just flip through and immediately understand what you're talking about in the essay, the better. And like I said, I used the funny example of when I grade these. A 10 out of 10 paper takes me 2 minutes to grade. I just see it, it just jumps out. This is the point the student is trying to make. Visually, I can see what the subheadings are, and I can see how they're supporting each of those. Any comments or questions on this framework? What do you think about it? Are you used to writing this way? Not used to writing this way? This is review from high school? This is completely new? Yes?
I think I began to learn about the structure in high school at first, in writing class, and also in composition 1 in freshman year of college. So it wasn't really new at this moment.
Okay, good.
What is the difference between the title? This is this title is the recommendation for organizational change.
Oh, okay, yeah, so this is the title, Recommend for Organizational Change. And the thesis is this sentence here. To support a flexible workforce, I recommend that we flatten organizational structure, consolidate departments, and deploy electronic notebook. The title, it tends to be hard to put your whole thesis in the title. Sometimes you might. The title of your essay might be, Don't Invest.
That is the whole thesis paragraph.
Yes. This is what we're calling the thesis paragraph.
Just one more stupid
Yeah,
question.
oh no. Please, I want you to ask as many questions on this as possible. Yes.
This is, you can even call it a conclusion.
Yes. Yes. We could call it a conclusion. And as I mentioned, when we transitioned into writing, very interchangeable in terms of the stuff we were talking about with the oral presentation you're going to make next week. You're going to be presenting a conclusion. The thesis is the written version of that.
Okay.
Other questions?
Yes.
So is the first one, the first paragraph, the introduction and the conclusion? Or
Is the first paragraph?
the introduction and the conclusion? Or just the conclusion?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not using the term introduction, but you could. So you're introducing your topic and explaining what you're going to say about that topic. I think that's fair to say. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to know, is it a standardized format for all business writing in the United States?
It is not necessarily, but I have found that these concepts are relatable to a lot of different types of writing that you will do. And I've also found that if you put writing in this format without people in your company, without your manager asking you to, they will appreciate it.
Okay.
They'll recognize you as the person who writes things that they can immediately understand. And they'll say, yes. That person knows how to assimilate a bunch of information and put it into a meaningful format that I can just get right off the bat. This is a guy who knows what I'm dealing with to make my life easier. Other questions? So, follow this structure. Often students are a little bit surprised by the grading on this, but I sometimes am confused because I grade strictly on this structure. I say, are the subheadings there? Are they in parallel format? Is there a clear topic sentence? Is there a clear thesis? Students still, though, do tend to be surprised that the grading is a little bit harder on the written assignments. Students are also pleasantly surprised that my grading on the oral presentations is very, very easy. You just put in effort, you typically get all the points for oral presentations. But writing, you'll need to clearly follow this format. Any questions? Yes?
For business writing, you always have to be concise and rational, or what about making it easier for students to read? Does it matter if you're doing a business writing?
Okay, so I would say both. Concise if possible and engaging. Can we do both? Yeah? Let's think about the important things that are going to be concise and engaging for our audience. Maybe we're explaining an investment opportunity. This company is about to go bankrupt because of this reason, and this reason, and we should invest because the market is positioned like this way where we can make a lot of money on this deal. I think just presenting those facts concisely can be exciting to your audience. Ooh, wow, I understand clearly what you're trying to say, and it sounds like an exciting opportunity. Maybe that's an example where you don't need to go into too much detail to get the engagement. So I would say you can do both, in my opinion. Other questions? I think we're near, yes.
I'm sorry, I just have one more question. So in all the other future writings assignment for this class, do we need to restate our thesis in the end or no?
Not according to this structure.
Okay.
Some students will anyway, but I will not mark off if you don't restate at the end.
Okay.
And on that point, I would say by the time you get to the end of your essay, your thesis has already been made.
Okay.
And your reader doesn't even need to read the last
Okay.
part because boom, title, hits them with the introduction, just visually, the way we absorb that information. Okay, so 2 weeks from today, please write an essay that states and supports a conclusion. Conclusion, thesis, interchangeable. 1 page or less in length. Business writing, try to be as concise as possible, but be engaging at the same time. Use this framework and submit via Blackboard prior to class 3. You're all, I'm sure, familiar with Blackboard, right? Use it all the time. Most end up, when I teach part-time and day students, sometimes I'll get someone who's using Blackboard for the first time. Any questions, any problems, let me know. And that is it. Great to have you all in class. Again, I appreciate your patience as we work through some of the logistics and framework we need to go through for this first class. I'll have you up and more engaged in the next class. Please email me, contact me if you need any more clarification, you need any information. I look forward to seeing you next week. Oh, and the one thing I remember we should do is you might want to form teams. Let's do that right now, actually. Form teams of 4 or 5 people for your technical data presentation that you're going to do in class 3. We'll see. So go ahead and make eye contact with someone who you think is really smart.
How many? 4?
4.
Oh,
4 or 5 or 5 or
4 or 5. 4 or 5. Okay. All right. All right. So everyone, so point. So you're a team. This team.
Yeah, you're gonna need 4 points for that.
You 4 are forming or?
No, nothing. I'm with them.
You're with them. Me, you're.
Okay, I could join guys.
You want?
You're gonna need 4 and 4. It's like,
So you are there. You want to join us?
No, I'm here.
You guys are 5.
We're 5 and then there's 8 left.
Who else teams? We are 2. Who wants to join 2 of us? Yeah, great.
Okay, I can join guys.
Are you on a team, Natalie?
I'm not.
Okay. So Ellen and Natalie want you 4 be a team, right? All right. So you 4 are a team.
No, you guys wait. I want to
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll give it to you. Here we go.
Okay. Great. All right. So you just picked up one. Okay.
And then you.
Good. Excellent. So I will see you all next week. Thank you.
I think you can choose it.
Yeah.
How about RBS?
How about we just, like,
Oh, yes, yeah. And I forgot, I normally do the same brainstorming exercise. Let's, tell me what your might be for a written essay, and everything everyone says, I say, yes, that's a great idea. I want to talk about the same thing that you talked about in your oral presentation.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm following and trying to couple of.
Do you want to?
Yeah, any topic you want for your
You can be the
written
leader.
presentation, I'm sure will be fine.
So we can do the same thing for both.
Yes, you can do the same thing for both. I'd recommend that you do.
Like for if I'm talking about my excellent